Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors. These are the two major components of this movie. But if you wanted to create this movie, after having seen it, I would say take a great big bowl that's called Marvel. Put a little sprinkle of Star Wars in it. Put a little sprinkle of Avatar in it. And even put a little sprinkle of Stargate in it. And now you got yourself a movie. This movie was not Marvel's best movie ever. This movie was not the best movie ever, but this was a really good jumping off point for the new Marvel Cinematic era. I liked it. Every single scene that Jonathan Majors was in was commanding. You know, when he was soft-spoken, he was commanding. When he was loud and angry and hitting people with his energy blast, he was commanding. Every time he was on the scene, you said, oh yeah, this is a Marvel villain. And his power isn't like, I've got super strength, or I can fly, or shoot lasers out of my eyes. His power really is his strategic planning, his ability to control the world around him. Really, he is literally a conqueror. He goes to a place, he defeats everybody, and then he uses that to go to another place and defeat everybody. He's basically unstoppable. Imagine this. You're here in your life. Say you've lived 20 years. And then you go here where you've lived 30 years. Now you jump backwards using time and you go back to when you were 20. Now there's two of you. Both of you 20-year-olds, both you and your past self, grow to be 50. And then both of you jump back to when you're 20. Now there's four of you. Plus, there's the you that you passed when you were 35. He still exists. And now all of you grow up to be 50. It just multiplies. This dude has jumped through time so many times that there's hundreds, thousands of variants of him. So if you walked up and you perished one of him, there's still 1,000 of him out there, and they're probably aware of what you did. So this guy's undefeatable because he's every win. He's all throughout time. They see him in one time period, and he's living in another time period. He's conquering the world in another time period. He's always there. There's just no stopping that dude, because you can't kill him. You can't lock him up, because even if you did, he's still there. So that's Kang, and in the future, because he starts out, way in the future. So his tech is 1,000 years beyond anything we've got today. So imagine today, your military today, with tanks and battleships and jets and nuclear bombs and the Marine Corps, and you go back to a time when they had flintlocks. They had to pour powder in the gun and light it on fire in order to fire a bullet. And they said a good man could fire one shot every minute. One every minute? No, they're not going to survive. So you take today's military back then, you're going to easily conquer the entire planet. That's what he's got. His technology is so far beyond ours that it's a walk through the park. Even fighting superpowered people, he's aware of them. He knows about them. He knows about them. He knows what they're going to do, where they're going to be. He is all throughout history. No stopping a dude like that. Then you've got Ant-Man, who can shrink down to the size of an ant. Yeah. It seems like a mismatch. But what you've got is, without any big spoilers, what you've got is Scott Lang is giving his daughter grief. And the daughter is like, well, I want to be a hero. I mean, you're not doing anything. You got these powers and you ain't doing nothing. Nothing. And he's like, I saved the world, girl. And she's like, so she's got this chip on her shoulder. And he's trying to pull her closer to him. And like right at the beginning of the movie, something happens, I don't want to say what it is, and they get sucked into the quantum realm, which in the comic books would be the micro universe. And they meet the Micronauts, which, you know, they're calling them quantum people, but they're Micronauts. I don't know when they're going to start switching that over to microverse, the micro universe, instead of the quantum universe, but maybe it's just different in the movie. So they meet what is essentially the Micronauts. They're people who are fighting against Kang, who's conquered the microverse. And that's the beginning of the story. That's the gist of the story. So you've got Ant-Man, you've got Scott Lang, Ant-Man, you know, Hank Pym, Ant-Man, Scott Lang, Ant-Man. You've got the Wasp, you've got Hope Van Dyne, her version of the Wasp. You've got, you know, Cassie, the daughter, and they all get sucked in there and they got to try to figure their way out, you know, make alliances. When she was there, when Janet was there previously, stuck for 30 years in a quantum realm, she made a lot of friends and she made a ton of enemies. So she never really talked about that. She didn't talk about it much. And it looks like she might have been having a lot of adult action when she was down there. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. And a couple people talk about it. They're like, and she's like, I was here for 30 years. What'd you expect? So, which is an odd thing for them to bring up in a Disney/Marvel movie, but they kind of brought that up. The movie was good. There were a lot of special effects, of course. There was a lot of story, but it wasn't really good. You know, it wasn't really bad. It was just sometimes the jokes didn't hit. They told a joke, you could see it coming, and it just didn't hit the way I would have expected it to. It's like it wasn't sure if it wanted to be a serious movie or a comedy, and it couldn't pick a lane. But it was good. It was good. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But there were a lot of aspects of the movie that were great. The introduction of Kang and all of his things. I mean, if you saw the Loki series, you know that the original one, the one He Who Remains, said, hey man, if you kill me, more is coming. Kang said that. He said, look man, let me go and do what I gotta do, or else worse things are coming. They try to stop him. So, you know, it's a flip of a coin. Do you stop this dude and potentially let something worse come, or do you let him do his evil and hope it's enough? Kind of like the thing with Thanos. Thanos was doing something evil. He was going to cut, you know, the population of the universe in half. Terrible. A lot of people are going to die. But in the long run, it would have been beneficial. People would have survived longer and easier lives with more resources and such. I don't know why he just didn't quadruple the resources, but that's just me. But this is a similar guy with a similar thought. He's like, I got an idea that will make the universe better. Now, it looks like it's going to suck, but trust me, it'll make everything better. And it's tough to beat somebody who has that type of conviction. And I think he's going to be a good villain because it seems like he can play different characters back to back to back to back to back. And he tossed Ant-Man a beating that I'm surprised he got back up from. I mean, we saw Ant-Man 1 where he gets punched in the face by that dude in jail and he barely got back up. But, you know, he gets tossed a beating. In this movie, he gets the business. And I'm just really surprised that he was able to get back up. But this movie definitely is going to lead into more things. it leads into the whole new universe. You got to stick around because there are 2 Easter eggs. Of course, it's Marvel, so you know there's going to be one. I sat there, you know, they clicked the lights just a little bit, and I was like, the lights are on. Or are they? They didn't turn the lights on all the way. They just turn them on like for the runway where people walk in and out of the theater. So I just kind of sat there, Easter egg. And then the credits roll, the music goes and everything. It's a long time. It's like 5 minutes. Everything's going. People are getting up and leaving, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not leaving until the lights come on and people start sweeping the floors. So I just sat there. I was like, all right, okay, what you got next? There's a second Easter egg. At the very end, it's a long time from when the movie stops to that second Easter egg. There's almost 10 minutes. And I waited, and it came out, and the second one leads to something big, I think. So, yeah, it leads to a whole nother show and a whole nother telling of some other stuff that kind of involves him. You'll see, you'll check it out. Don't leave your seat. Trust me, stay there and check it all out. But I thought the movie was good. I may do another one in a couple of days with some spoilers. But the movie just came out, I think, last night. So, you know, I don't want to give everything away. So, but trust me, it's good. In fact, it was so good that I would give Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 8 bags of popcorn. I would have said 7, but 8 bags of popcorn because of the implications on where it's going next. It's a good movie. It's like a 7, 7.5, but I'm going to give it an 8 because of where it's going next. But that's what I think. More importantly, what do you think? Now that you've seen the video, let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport.